welcome to my first Bookbinding with Cass online tutorial. I hope you're all doing well in these very strange and troubling times that we find ourselves in. For those of you that have been to one of my workshops before, welcome back. It's great to have you. This is going to be slightly different to what you're used to, but hopefully it'll allow you to continue being creative at home while you are stuck inside. And for those of you that haven't done a workshop with me before, welcome. I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Cass. I usually work from my studio, which is in a converted shipping container in Leith, which is quite apt really, because my approach to bookbinding is really about reusing and recycling and transforming materials that might otherwise go to landfill or get chucked in the bin, and instead turn them into unique and usable books. So a good example that I use to show that is this book here. This is a buttonhole binding, but the book itself, I've got tweed offcuts, so just remnant material for the cover. I have leather from an old sofa for the spine of the book. I'm using the inside of old envelopes to create my pages of the book. So you can see insides of envelopes get quite exciting if you get as into them as I do. So this is quite a nice example that sums up my ethos. So bookbinding comes in lots of different shapes and forms. You get really kind of fine bookbinding. You got conservation bookbinding. This is what I call upcycled bookbinding. So we'll be using tools and materials that are quite lo-fi, which means that you can make around your kitchen table. So I'm not going to use any heavy equipment or anything that you can't access easily. And everything that you need to make this book is in your kit, bar a pair of scissors and a cutting mat, which I'll get onto. So that's an introduction to me. Now let's have a look at what we're making today. Tea, very important for workshops. We'll get to that later. So here's what we're making today. This is a layered cross-stitch journal. So you can see the stitch in there. It's quite nice. I really like this book and I started teaching it last year. I quite like it because there's lots of different ways that you can personalise it and make it quite unique to you. From the kind of colours of thread that you choose, to the way that you fasten your book, to the decorative pages that you include inside. And we'll get to all that as we go through the workshop. But I just wanted to show you what we're kind of aiming for. So you've got book, you've got your nice decorative stitching, and the way that the book is constructed is from a fabric cover, which is going to either be leather or pleather, depending on what your preference was. And then stitched to the cover are your pages. So you can see here, we've got a series of booklets that we call signatures. So this book is going to contain 6 booklets. And then I've left your leather or pleather long enough so that you've got a nice flap that protects the edges of your pages, and we can look at doing a few different types of ties to fasten your book together. And that's really handy because it gives you somewhere to put your pencil as well, so that it keeps it nicely together with your book. So that's what we're aiming for. All your books will end up looking totally different, which is really nice. That's the bit that I love, is when you all get kind of similar materials, but you'll produce something that's completely unique to you. So next I'll take you through what's in your kit, and then we'll get started making our books.